Hello everybody, welcome back. So this evening we're going to be working on the Snowmobile. We did a live one time before, and now we are back with our second live stream. This live stream I purchased a tripod so that my phone I can set it up a little bit easier and you guys can get a better view. So trying to make things better for you. You guys haven't even seen this sled yet, but hey, Big A, you guys haven't even seen this sled yet. I talked about it, and now here we are. I'll show you my dad's sled so you can see how that one's looking. So here is my dad sitting here behind the trailer. What we're waiting for right now, what's going on, Logan? What we're waiting for right now with this sled is my dad wants to purchase a new windshield, and I had mentioned to him that the windshield has these tabs, and the tabs are where they tab in on this one side. It's all cracked. So I was using some wire, and I was wiring up these cracks, and I was going to wire and get all that put back together. But now I'm kind of at a standstill because he's seeing if he can find himself a part sled where he can find the hood, the windshield, and maybe the seat if it has it. But this one, other than that, I'm going to use some wire to wire on the seat. Normally there's a spring type contraption on there. I can't really find any of them online, and I think wire will work just as good to hold her on there. But it's running real nice. There's a lot of comments, so sorry guys. But hello to everyone that has said hi. So yeah, that's what this one is waiting for. We'll see what he decides or what he can come up with. So this one here is the sled that I'll be getting for, I guess you'd say, trading labor and stuff for this one. This one here is a Skidoo Formula SLS. It's a 1996. Has a 500 in it, water cooled. Might consider it a 494, but it's just a 500. And it looks, from the outside, it looks much nicer. But it was quickly changed, and I'll show you why. Show you guys why. So here's this side of it. Here's the mess we got going on, and we're going to talk about it. So this is the air box, and it has this nice little honeycomb metal over top. I'm just going to move this to some better light for you guys. So it has this nice little honeycomb on top that has been chewed through, and inside you might be able to see all of the mouse nest that was in here. Right here is where the carbs hook up. So, as you can tell, the nest goes all the way to the bottom, and it went into the carbs. And I've never seen anything like this before. Look at how rotten these carbs are. The only thing I can come up with is from the moisture of the mice, the acidity maybe from them, it just, ate away at this. I've never seen anything like it. I hope to never see anything like it again. It's terrible. So these hook up, this is a Rotax engine. So I think it's just referring to this front plate here. So as the engine spins, this plate spins with it. and this engine was froze up, but it wasn't because of rust in the cylinder walls. This plate was rusted on this side and that side. So the nest went into the carb, and even on this back side here, you can see how corroded this part got. But I'm hoping this side of it's salvageable because there's not holes. I'm hoping I can salvage that. It's really hard actually to find parts for this lead. That Polaris is way nicer to find parts for compared to this Skidoo, surprisingly. There's not much about these engines or anything, and I think the issue comes from the fact that they use these Rotax engines on like motorcycles. They're really common on motorcycles and really not common on these sleds, in comparison. And so I can find a ton about motorcycle engines, but they're completely different. So that's the issue I'm running into. I was, however, able to find a kid actually on Marketplace that had one of these he was parting out. It was slightly different, but I think the carbs will work. So just to put this in perspective, one of these carbs on eBay was $80. Used for $80. So I was able to get both of these carbs, and I call these plungers. I don't know if that's actually the correct term, but I'm going to call them plungers. I was able to find all of these. It was $55 because I upselled them. All right, I picked those up after the fact. He was trying to keep them. I was kind of like confused. My only concern is this one had a manual choke, and I got to see what we have going on here. Am I missing that? Did I unhook it without realizing it? Are these carbs actually going to work? I do not know. So, yeah. Hey, Nicholas Green. How's it going? That's an interesting person. I watch your videos all the time. Okay. Yeah, so that's what we're dealing with here. And see, almost immediately, this, I believe, yeah, that's where that choke would go. Now, I can probably buy a choke lever and install it on here, and it would actually work out pretty nice. Or I could find I suppose I could thread a bolt in there and cap it off. But it's hard, right? Because like I said, you can't find too much out between all these. So let me set you guys up, like I said in the beginning. Yeah, I'm not going to answer any deer questions. Sorry, guys. To be honest, I really don't know myself. I've been busy. My dad's been busy. So, and then as far as super chat goes, I'm not really sure. I don't know if that's like where you can donate money or whatever, but I don't know how to. I don't really know how to set that up. So sorry if that's too bad. Okay. So let's see here. I got kind of a bendy tripod, so this might take me a minute to figure this out. Everybody was kind of complaining last time, so I figured I might as well get a different tripod set up here. There. Now you guys shouldn't fall over. So let's just do a quick comparison here between the carbs and see. So the front is just a tiny bit smaller. Might be able to get away with that. My biggest concern is maybe the jet would be smaller. But we'll have to check and see. Here's this side. This side's real hard to tell. That side looks actually pretty close. Oh, sorry guys. So if we compare this side, that side looks pretty close. This side here, it's a little smaller, but I think we could probably make that work. A person could even wrap like 1 or 2 layers of black tape on here, and you can jet them differently. This solution you see back here, this is simple green and water. And the reason I've been soaking these now for 5 straight days, because I cannot get the cable. I can't get those plungers, as I call them, to move. You can see I'm pushing the throttle right now with no movement at all on those carbs. They're so froze, I pretty much immediately knew that I was going to have to get new ones. So I took a screwdriver and wedged it in there to try to pry up on these with no luck. So if that is how completely gone these are. I mean, like I said, I tried to remove this, right? I'll show you what that looks like. So if I remove that, it'll look like this. So this piece just slides right out of there. Has a little needle on it. And it will literally, it just will not come off of there. Yeah. But luckily, like I said, I was able to talk to the kid and get the whole setup here. Let me just check some comments. I did try to heat them up with the torch. I actually heated them up so much that that water in the bucket started to boil. No luck. It was crazy. Okay, so with that being said, let's, I really don't know where to start right now. Okay, so if I spin you guys over here, let's take this carb here and let's open it up and see what we're working with. Our cat inside is being very loud and obnoxious. Okay, we'll just go with the old screwdriver here. I'm hoping he wasn't lying when I asked him. I said, does it have the jets and stuff in it? And he said, yeah. We'll find out right now. It's not like I'm going to complain because I had, like I said, I had to drive 45 minutes one way to go meet with this kid at his place, so not too worried about it. I still saved a bunch of money. It would just be another step. I'd be answering questions, but I'm not on that side, so sorry, guys. But yeah, I thought this sled was going to be really easy, just because, you know, you look at it from the outside, it looks clean, you can tell it's a little newer, and that's kind of, I guess, the way things go. As far as what we need, I want to get some spark plugs. When I pulled out the one spark plug, the end here, this is actually supposed to be in the spark plug boot. So this is what it should look like. This part popped out with it. And I was going to buy a new ignition coil, but they're $80-ish online, which is pretty steep for something that I don't even know, you know, what's the longevity of this thing going to be? I have no idea. So I think I'm going to have to make do with what I got and see if I can't just stuff that back in there and put some miles on it first. There's 3. We just got to do this 4th one here. Yeah, so spark plug, wires eventually. I got to redo all the fuel lines. This thing has probably half a tank of rotten fuel in it. So we have the whole shebang again. Okay. What is going on here? We're sticking on something. Okay, there we go. Alright, so yeah, it has a jet in there, which is good. This looks really clean. This is an aftermarket gasket for sure, because this is more of a, this one even could be aftermarket, but the bowls look about the same. Actually, this bowl looks bigger. So I think the difference was his is a 96 and mine was a 95. So that's kind of the thing, but it looks clean in here. Just take a peek at the jet. That little secondary, that was the one that got all clogged up in the last one. You can see through it. It's a little corrosive, but overall not bad. So I will say that I think these should work. Definitely better than what I got. This might be a homemade gasket. No, it's not a homemade one, but definitely a felt one. For a minute I thought it was like RTV. And then yeah, we're gonna have to do something about that choke. Yeah, mine has a pump primer on it. I figured that's kind of the, I'll show you guys that. You can also kind of review some comments here. Okay, let's see. So, yeah, the prime to start system, kind of different than most. So you'd pump this, and that's what primes your system. It's kind of an interesting thing. I remember it from before because it was like, that to me was kind of goofy. But yeah, this is the overall condition here. Brake's a little rusty, but that should come off. Probably have to, yeah, unseize the lever. The 96 year was hydraulic. This one's cable. So I kind of like cable over hydraulic personally, but that's just me. Only on, you know, power equipment like this. The recoil. I don't know if it really goes back or what. I think it's actually in the tube where it's a little hung up. We got to go through that. Obviously, we got to redo the coolant. Has the pre-oiler again, which I was going to bypass, but then I learned, which I'll show you that as well, since we're talking about it. Maybe someone out there might be curious. I was going to bypass it, but I learned that this is on the front end. These lines which are broken, these are, focus, there you go. So that broken line, that's the oiler. And one comes up right here, it's that corroded green piece. This one right there. I was gonna bypass it, but I learned that it shoots oil into the bottom side of the crank. So if I spin this, you'll see how it works. And you can see the internals, right? So that's what it's gonna lube up. That's the crankshaft there. But like right in here, you could stick a pencil in that hole, and that would be the point where it would put lube in the bottom end. So that is why we're not gonna bypass that. Okay, let's see. Just reading some comments here. Yes, this is the other snowmobile. If you guys are tuning in late or whatever, my dad's is back here. This one is gonna be mine if I can get it running. Yeah, it should run good. Can I yank this out so I can show you guys something? Okay, set you guys back up here, and I will show you something. Please don't fall over. I was telling people earlier, I got a little bendy tripod thing for my phone because the last live stream it kept falling over, and I used to have a nice OtterBox that had like a rubberized case, and it broke, so I got the warranty, but they didn't make it anymore. And so now my new case is hard plastic and it doesn't stick like the rubberized one did. All right, so this is The good news about the sled is it has, if you guys can zoom in here, 1,372 miles. That's really low miles for a sled. That sled has 5,000 miles, a little over 5,000 miles. So this one here is very low miles, if that cluster's right, but we're just gonna say it is. This sled here, 4,166 miles. But this one's been running real good. Let's set you guys up here. I'll start it for you. Probably have to put you a little bit low. Hope you don't mind. I'll just you up here. There we go. Let's see how many pulls it takes. Hasn't ran in a lot of days. So I just have the choke on. Too smoky in here. That was a big question on the last video on why it was so smoky, and my response to that is this machine has the oil injection system just like the other sled there. Get up there. So this sled has the oil injection system. But then also, being that it was kind of seized up, I put mixed gas and oil into the tank, and it's been burning that as well. So it's kind of like double oiled, but it's been running really nice that way, and breaking in, this old engine again. It's probably actually real nice for it right now. So this gas is almost out. I'm going to fill it up with just 90, and we'll be set to go. Nicholas Green says, make sure to tell your dad I say hi. I love all the videos. You also got me hooked on crayfish trapping when I was younger. I'll make sure I send him the message. He might watch this, but I'll send him I'll let him know, because I know that we've talked about your channel before and just kind of admired your ability and stuff. So I'll make sure I'll let him know. So yeah, that's the lowdown on this other sled. That one's running great. Okay. So where to begin? Let's start by working on those other carbs and getting it all kind of taken apart. And I'll flip you guys around to the front view so I can see what's going on and answer comments as we go along here. Just gotta get you guys all hooked up. Let me know if you like this this different tripod. So let me know. I think this works better. I'm just gonna grab my tip cleaners so I can clean that jet, and we'll go from there. Let me just grab them here. All right, somebody asked if I was getting the sled ready for my dad's winter trip, and tilt you down here. And that is exactly what it's ready for. I don't know when he's going up there. He's a very busy person all the time, so sorry, I know it's shaky. I'm getting it. We're learning here. There we go. Okay. And let's see if we have anybody else. Nicholas Green. All right. So where was that carb? This one and this one. Okay. So this was the one that we just took apart. You said it was water cooled. How does that work in cold weather? It's just like a vehicle. It's not true water. Typically it's a 50-50 water antifreeze mix, and that makes it good for negatives. You know, like sometimes it depends on the coolant you get, but they come in different ratings. And you guys all suggested about getting some of these, so I did. Apparently my drill bit idea wasn't the greatest, so I took everyone's advice and I got some of these. They work really well. So this is just a tip cleaner for like a oxyacetylene torch. I should have thought about this because at work we run stuff like this. I've seen these lying around. I've actually seen other people use them for this exact reason. But there you go. Just get the size that works best. Yeah, that's what I'm learning. Snowmobiles are a lot of work. They really are. They say they're pretty expensive to have. And I believe that. Someone asked what the temperature was in the garage. We're 34 degrees here in the garage. It's pretty good because outside it's probably in the 20s. There we go. So that one's cleaned up. The key that I learned is you got to get the little jet. And a person should probably spray out all these other holes, but I'm just going to worry about these jets right now. You're going to have to source a bolt for the choke. What's going on, Austin? A lot of people asking about the deer hunting. Like I said before, I really don't know myself. My dad's real busy. He's texting me a little bit when he is up there, but not much. So here's that little jet. It comes out of this small hole. And this is what tripped me up on that other sled. I don't know why I did not think of this jet, but I didn't. I believe this to be more of an idle jet. Just my own personal preference. Might not be, it's probably just a secondary, but regardless, I think of it as there's a little chunk that came out of there. I think of it as a idler because of the fact that that sled would not idle. And I cleaned it out and then it idled real nice. So we're cleaning this up. This one has a lot more holes to it. I know it's gonna be hard to focus, but you guys can kind of see that. There's like the main jet, and then there's like little side jets. And let's go through these. This actually looks pretty clean, but like I said, I got one little chunk of something came out of the main one. Idle jet? Yeah, that's what I figured. Which is funny, right? Because it's smaller. So, of course, it's going to get clogged easier than this main one. Plus, it probably doesn't have nearly the same pressure as the other one. Just in its nature. Let's get those cleaned up on this one. There we go. Beautiful. And I'm going to show you guys a cheat that you guys should probably not use. And that is power tools. That's right. I picked up this Ryobi this past summer for this exact reason. I watch Andrew, what is it, Andrew Camarta or something like that. It's his username. And he had a Craftsman one. And I was like, that is the smartest thing I've ever seen. Because I've heard of these, right? And I've seen them, I've used them on like, working with my dad and stuff, these Impact. But I thought, you know, maybe it doesn't have the amount of power needed for some project like this. And it truly does. It will strip these out if it has to. I'm just going to check these floats. Yeah, they're moving. Moving a little bit. See, this one's getting hung up on this, gasket. See this gasket? This gasket's overhanging the edge all over. I don't know what. I think a person was supposed to maybe cut it out here or something, but that's never gonna fly. Hopefully you guys can see that. So it's overhanging right in here. So we're gonna have to work on that because that's not gonna work. Let me go grab a knife and cut this all up. Probably ruined my gasket in the process. Oh, before that I'm gonna make my water drink here. So I'm a big fan of flavored water. I'm an even bigger fan of pop. So to try to bridge the gap into healthiness, I like flavored water. You know what's funny, actually, now that I say that, this is a funny little story. So deer hunting, the first video went up, and Dad and I both are constantly looking at new comments. I mean, I probably look at new comments every 30 minutes. And my dad right now has about the same schedule. So he's looking at it every 30 minutes, but it's like in between. And he likes pretty much everybody's comment. And that's how I know where he's at. So I would like comments too, but I can see where he's been, and then I can review the ones that he hasn't liked yet. And there was one that I seen that said, tell Zach he needs to lay off the baking bits. He's looking a little pudgy for a guy his age. And I really laughed at that because I thought there has been a lot of nice comments on the channel. It's funny, there's like waves of, you'll have like a few months of like nothing but really nice comments, and then you'll have a week of just people, whatever, ragging on it or trolling or whatever. And I thought there's like 500 comments at this time or whatever, and 99% of them were all solid, and this was just like the one guy. And I thought the video is 1 hour and 45 minutes long, and that's all you could come up with. I mean, of all the things, you couldn't say anything nice or even like constructive criticism, if you will, or whatever. That's what he came up with, and that made me laugh because I was like, wow, I don't even eat bacon bits because I don't have that many salads. I love like broccoli and corn and stuff, but salads are hard to come by this time of year. Any sort of freshness, you know. But this water just made me think of that. I thought it was hilarious. I deleted the comment. I was going to reply back, and I thought, this guy's gonna have nothing good to say no matter what you try to say. So, anyways, it's a 500 water cooled. So, right? Bacon is so good. I'm not even really a big bacon guy though. I don't eat breakfast. So what we're doing right now, if you're just tuning in, is we got this gasket on this carb. The original carbs were completely trash on this machine. I can't even show you guys with the camera angle. We'll get there. So I'm just going through these used carbs that I had to drive 45 minutes to the guy's house. He has a part sled, and I picked up these carbs, which are slightly different. But one thing I'm noticing right now is that this gasket is overhanging into the bowl, causing the floats. So when fuel goes in here, this float will rise up, and it's causing the float to hit on the gasket, and it'll never run right. It'll always be flooded. So I'm just going to take my knife here, And I'm going to cut out a little bit of this gasket. This gasket actually is real like fiberglass almost. Ooh, bacon cheeseburger. You guys are gonna make me hungry. Oh, bacon cheeseburger sounds so good now. Why would you say that? We had chicken for dinner, chicken thighs on the charcoal grill that's over here. I just picked it up a few weeks ago, and I've been grilling on it. And I had like a Weber style grill before. See, now that float can just freely move, which is what we need. Versus this, see how this one, so that one kind of makes it past, but it's getting hung up on there. But anyways, I bought that grill a few weeks ago, and I've been learning on it. It's much different than the old Weber. The Webers are very consistent in how they cook. This one here, you can adjust the briquettes up and down and everything else. So I gotta just learn it. But we cooked chicken thighs, and then rather than just cooking chicken thighs, I cooked up a few burgers because I hate to fire it up and use a third a bag of charcoal just to cook one little thing of chicken thighs. So I'm like 9,000% sure that on that other carb, this gasket did not go over that hole, but on this particular one, it does. This is the old bowl. Well, let's see, Greg, sorry, I almost called you Craig. I'll show you more of the sled again, we'll recap. I'm just getting rid of this gasket all around this thing. Is that going to be an issue? It kind of just ripped off of there. I don't think so. This is just going to bury out in the bottom. Keep in mind on this thing too, there is a little tiny hole. This little thing, there's a little hole in there I'll have to clean out. Here's that gasket. It's just ripping off of there. And I know on that Polaris there was not a gasket around there. I don't know. I'm cutting it off. Yeah, the rate this is going, I'm going to have to buy a new gasket. But also the rate this is going, Greg, I'm going to have to kind of recap it with you. But I have my doubts about this sled ever even running. There we go. Now they're both freely going, which is how we want it. Yep, we're not going to hit nothing. Let me attempt to clean out the tiny little jet on this like pickup tube. It is a tiny hole though, so we will see. Doesn't look clogged. And that's going to be a sneaky one to get to, of course. It's like way in here. There we go. If this light's getting to be bad, tell me, because I'll turn off my headlamp here. A lot of people ask what headlamps we have. And I'm lucky enough to have one because my dad bought me one for Christmas. And the brand of the headlights that he uses, and you'll see everybody using them because he buys them for everybody, they're Fighting Girl headlamps. So this one right here on my head, it's on here somewhere. Fighting Girl headlamps. And we were joking the one day, we're like, dang, like, I bet we've sold a lot of, like, people always ask, what's the tent stove? That's a cylinder stove. And then people always ask what seasoning he uses on everything. Johnny's Hunter's Blend. And then, and then people always ask, what headlamps? Because they're bright, and they really are. And it's these Fighting Girl ones. And we're not, We've gotten a lot of offers, guys, from a lot of different companies to do little, like, sponsorship stuff. We've had stuff sent to us, and this is a long time ago, but, like, we tried going down that route, of, like, yeah, give us free stuff and we'll talk about it. But we found that it just didn't fit with what we were trying to do. There was one duck hunting video where like we got these face mask things for the cold, and we tried to kind of show them, but it really didn't work. Didn't fit. That was about the only time we've ever done it. And so just know that, you know, people might say, oh, if you get sponsorships, you'll make more money. Well, we're not really in it, I guess, for that. I mean, that is a nice bonus, but really, it's not who we are. It's not what we envision us doing. So I got this one in there, which is good. This is a Mikuni H6, and there's an 8 on there. And this one, it's all rotten. Let me show you guys this carb. So you guys just seen this one. You know, it's nice, it's round, solid, just like a carb should be. And this is what I found out on this snowmobile. Look at this. Both of these are just completely like that. And my explanation for it is there is a really nasty mouse nest that was in the airbox, and I believe the moisture from them using it like a bathroom had built up, because I mean it was, where is that airbox? I just had that thing. Here it is. Let me show you. Oh, it's heavy because it's full of stuff. Okay, so it has this nice little honeycomb top to keep critters out that they chewed through. They created a nest in here, which is right there. Hopefully you guys can see that. Right up to the top. And this part here was what those carbs were connected to. And this nest was all the way into the carbs. And all that moisture, you know, goes down in time. And that is what that is what happened. That is my best guess on what happened. Was that all that moisture went down and caused all that problem. Hey, Marcy. Let's get into this one. See what's going on here. Hopefully this video is a little more productive than my last one. It's with this little tripod, it's making it a lot better. They forgot to flush. That's the truth. Mice are just destructive little things, and this sled looks so nice on the outside. Here's a regular gasket. So that other one he had been in, and see this one, it does have a gasket around here, but we're gonna see if it runs very good. Those floats move real nice. The inside of this one. Yeah, I was just surprised. I had just never seen such a horrible carb, unfortunately. It's a real shame. When I showed up to pick this thing up, I was tempted to pull it over and start it, and then I did a once over, luckily, and seeing how full that airbox was, and I said, no, this thing ain't gonna run. I even thought of cleaning out the airbox. I thought, oh, if I pull the junk out of it, yeah, no, this thing wouldn't have ran. So luckily I just loaded it like it was non-running, because it was, and kind of did it a different way than the last time. I didn't have to use a come-along. I just pulled it. My dad has like a ledge thing. I just yanked her right up on the ledge and off the ledge, and it worked gloriously. Mothballs work to keep mice away. Yes, they do. Also, if you use dryer sheets from, like clothes dryer sheets, Those are great in like campers. There we go. So luckily, yeah, these carbs are junk. These carbs are junk, the ones I'm replacing. That's the thing, like I said, it's hard to find parts for this sled. So now I'm like, well, I kind of was tempted to put a 4-stroke in here, but I need like a motorcycle engine, and that would, you know, it is liquid cooled, and I could probably put a motorcycle engine in here, but this is a 500cc. It'd probably be easier just to throw a Polaris engine in here, you know, I mean, you know how it is. A lot of the stuff I've learned is the same exact stuff, just sold with a different stamp on it. So, especially with like when I had a bunch of, I didn't have a bunch. I had a moped, and then all my friends had mopeds, and we had what we called the moped gang. And we all roll around. I wish I was talking about something I did 15 years ago, but this was in the last 5 years. And mopeds are way fun. But regardless, I had to work on their stuff because I'm a little more knowledgeable, I guess. I mean, not that this is really hard, but you know, I spent the time to kind of understand it. And so I'd work on theirs, and it's the same motor from a Honda to what did I have? I had some like really, you know, really cheap ones, and yeah, same motor, and like that's what people are saying also about. Here's that idle jet. That's what people are also saying about those Predator brand generators from Harbor Freight. They say, yeah, it's just, it's like the same exact, it's the same exact thing, except for it's made with kind of inferior parts as far as like gaskets and stuff. And they said you can literally buy a Honda gasket, you know, let's say like your carb or something's leaking, you buy a gasket for it through Honda, and it'll just work the same. It's the same exact thing. So you can save yourself over probably half the price and get yourself the same exact product. And if something goes wrong, you just go OEM Honda and it works the same. That's what I've heard. I don't have a Predator generator. I have a Coleman. But Punch, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, all of those. There's all sorts of generators that they sell. I can't remember what the yellow one is. You can get them at like Home Depot. But people rave by them. And yeah, Harbor Freight probably does have some pretty junky tools, but all the stuff I've gotten from Harbor Freight, I thought was relatively, you know, what it is, right? I can spend 4 times more on it, but I bought a crescent wrench from them, and it was like, yeah, I mean, it's not a snap-on, you know. It doesn't feel like I spent $500 on it. I spent $20 on it, and yeah, champion. But I mean, at the end of the day, it works just as good as any other crescent wrench, and if it breaks, I'm not going to cry about it. Just gonna go buy a new one. Probably wanted a new one by then, anyways. All right, so we got those cleaned out. Now we just have the one tiny one hiding on this pickup tube. I'm very happy with these carbs and how clean they are. Even though they are slightly different. His was non-Rotax. His was a 500 non-Rotax front. So, talk about that in a second here. That one's nice and clear. I don't know why he has this orange thing on here. Like, I don't know what that's all about, what that signified. I'll find out, I'm sure. But the bowls look nice and clean compared to this was one that was on here, which I have not cleaned, but it's very grungy. All right, let's bolt this thing back together. What is this? But does your Coleman have China motor on it? Same thing. Carb parts will work from Honda. Yep. That's what I'm saying. It's all the same. You know, there's just different grades, right? A lot of people say, well, stuff that comes from China is kind of inferior, and it might be, but we've been getting stuff from China for a long time, and they have the infrastructure for making these things, so it makes me wonder if a USA-made product would be any better. A lot of times, I bought the Stanley handsaw. It said, made in the USA. But when you read the fine print, it just said, assembled in the USA with imported parts. That's what's happening, right? You buy American made, but it's actually China made. They just had some people here put them together, which there's nothing wrong with that. You're still helping here, but it's really not truly American made. Oregon said, are you going to fire this thing up tonight? Definitely not. If that's what you're here for, I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. I'll explain to you why, though. All right? So let's get into that. So if you have tuned in the last 5 or 10 minutes, let's go over this thing. Let me flip this around. Hello, everybody. All right. So here we are. This is the red sled, which I thought was a Yamaha. It's a Skidoo. Both are good brands. Even Polaris is a better brand, I think, than probably Skidoo, just in the parts reliability. This is what we're working with, a Rotax. Right there. And 500 water cooled. I've seen a lot about it. Might be considered a 494. But that's how the Polarises work. That's a, what did we say that was? A 484 or something like that. But if it was water cooled, it would be a 500. So it is what it is. This one's a 96. So, yep, 96. She looks beautiful. This track is beautiful. Really nice looking studded track. I mean, it really looks nice. It has, how many miles did it have? Someone can remember? 1,200? 1,300 miles? Low miles on this bad boy. But when I got it, it had a nasty mouse nest. And because of that, if you guys haven't seen this already, these are the carbs. Mark, it was 1,300. Here you go. So that's what that carb looked like. That's what mice, the acidity of mice can do. At first I thought they chewed through it, and then I changed my mind. Just disgusting. Let's show you guys the other one. That side looks good, but this back side is garbage. I was actually going to try to salvage these. So I dunked them in this solution for the last 5 days. Simple green and water. Heated them up with the torch and actually made the water in the bucket. I'm not lying. Look at it. It's all melted. Have a good night, John. Made it boil. It was hot. And let's take a peek here and see if we can get the throttle to turn at all. Give her some throttle. Oh yeah, there's nothing going on there. You see the cables tension up, but the plungers within those just will not move. And I knew that. Well, I figured that out. And so, I knew I had a problem. I knew there's no way that these were really going to get salvaged, because I tried to take off the top cap and it's so gunked up in there. I mean, that's after I soaked it and heated it. I can't get this plunger to come out. And I thought, well, it's kind of screwed anyways. So I took which one was it? Not that one. I took a screwdriver and rammed it in there and tried to pop it. Still would not move. Would not move at all. They're just totally screwed. So, found a guy with a part sled. Was able to find these carbs, which are kind of different in the fact that these ones had a manual choke and this one has like a primer. So I'm going to have to clog up that hole But size-wise, they're close. Which side was it? This side is slightly smaller, which I can get away with because I can wrap some tape on it. I can get away with it, I guess, on either side. This side looks to be the same. So there is the deal with that. And the acidity not only made it through these carbs, but also onto this right here. This is the Rotax part, right? So this is where we get fancy with this machine. So as this spins, right, as this thing will run, this little metal shim plate spins, and you can see that it covers one hole because it's a twin cylinder engine. Covers one hole, opens up the other. Just enough, right? It kind of has them both open. One's on compression and one's on the exhaust stroke, right? So I thought this engine was seized, but it was that the plate was rusted here, here, here. 1372. Thanks, Mark. By the way, guys, Mark is, I'd say, a very top fan. He, very, very generous guy. When I was talking in the video about these lights, Mark was the nice individual to buy me these lights. And also this security system, which Mark, by the way, Sam and I just went today and got a new TV. So now I have a TV to run the security system in. I also got my office all set up this weekend. So now I don't have to edit laying on the floor. I don't have them installed yet. But I didn't have a TV before. Now I gotta figure out if I want to mount the TV in the office or mount it out here. The office is going to be quite the run for the wire, but I'll have to decide. We'll see. But anyways, I thought that would be some good news you'd want to hear. But anyways, Mark is a really good guy. He's a really good guy. So thanks for everything you do, Mark. Someone said, did you check compression? No, I did not. Because this thing was, we can get more wire, you're right. This thing was, what I thought it was seized, but it wasn't. So I actually had to take everything off just to see what was going on in here. And you guys will have to see the video because it looks disgusting in here. Or it did. It looks a lot better now. So I have this all off because this here has an oiler system on it, and these oiler lines are bad. So I got to source out some oil lines and spark plugs and stuff, and fuel line and the carbs as well. So yeah, we got these new carbs from the guy, and also the new top piece plungers are in here as well. But I can't, it's not going to run tonight because it has half a tank of bad fuel, which I have to remove the tank again to drain because the pickup tube is like on the very top. So this is your shutoff valve, and right up here is the pickup, and in the tank it'll like droop down and it'll suck gas up. It has a fuel pump, which I'll have to replace as well. But yeah, I tried to drain it. I cut this line and was like, come on, but no, it wouldn't. And I'm not about to put my mouth on that to try to get the siphon going because I learned my lesson with that when working on the Argo. The first time I did it, the Argo had separated fuel and water. I got nothing but water in my mouth. I'm like, wow, fuel doesn't taste bad at all. Then when the Argo's fuel pump went bad and I tried to do it again, I got fuel. And fuel in your mouth is terrible. It is terrible. Like, you got to wash your mouth out. It's so disgusting. I never want to do that again. So, yeah, I'm going to have to remove the tank, which means I have to remove the seat. And that's a whole process that I'm probably not going to get into tonight. I'm just out here kind of chit-chatting with you guys and working on stuff a little bit. But I thought it was important to showcase the sled. And that's why this sled's going to take a little longer. This sled here we could clean up and we got running. This thing is awesome. I'm jealous. My dad got himself a nice good one here. The only sucky thing is the snow all melted, so I can't take it out for a spin anymore. So yeah, that's what that is. But this sled here, it's going to take me a little bit, which is good. Because, I mean, if it was too easy, I'd probably feel bad. So I feel good. I got the Honda going for my dad. I got this sled going for my dad. And I mean, it's not done yet, but we're going to get it all buttoned up here. And hopefully he has good use of it. And then this one here, though, man, it's going to be a headache. I'm all down for a good headache, though. What do we got going on here in the chat? Yeah. Reed said, make sure you verify the oiler. Yeah, I was going to bypass the oiler, but from my research of what I could find, I learned that the oiler actually pushes some oil into the lower end of the engine, like the crankshaft side. And I see it now that I look at it, because these little kind of green pieces here, they are the for the oiler. And this hole, you know, you guys just probably looked in it, but you can see the crankshafts right there. So it oils that bottom end. And so unfortunately I have to kind of use that oiler. And I was going to try to buy it off that part sled, but it was different. It didn't have this Rotax portion on it, just had the 2 holes. So unfortunately I couldn't bum that off of the dude. It's all right. But yeah, it's a low mileage sled. I've had a heck of a time, Joe. I've had a heck of a time trying to find parts for this thing. Online, there's like no parts support. You know, I go to the Skidoo website and, you know, you can buy washers and bolts, but you can't find what you really need, right? I can't buy this whole unit. If it was me, I'd just buy this whole unit. So now I'm thinking like, well, we're going to see if we can just get it to run with what we got. You know, I'll put new fuel lines on it and all the cheap crap, but I'm not going to sit here and spend $500 on it yet. If I can get this engine to run and verify, yeah, it has lots of power, this thing's going to be great. That's awesome. It's in really good condition, you know, body-wise. It's really nice. But at the end of the day, if I have to, see you later, Nick. If I have to put a whole new motor in here, I will. Someone said something about a Predator motor or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how many horsepower it is. I know it's a 500cc, and I can't remember the cc to horsepower ratio. Someone might be able to do that for me. But anyways, yeah, I thought I'd just show you guys this. We worked a little bit, but now I'm just kind of getting chatty. So, did anybody have any questions about this machine in particular before I let y'all go? 13 horsepower. It might be worth putting a 4-stroke on here. Barry says, search for a used 583cc. It will bolt up. If the carbs are smaller than stock, it will not run right. It will just bog unless you rejet. And that is what we are going to find out. I need to verify what's on here. The problem is it should be stamped in the side of the carbs, but they're so rotten I cannot. So I'm going to have to try to research it. For good PR, 500cc is 18.5 horse. I might be able to find like a horizontal shaft engine of some sort used. I'd love to put a 4-stroke in this thing. You know, you guys know I weld for a living, so making mounts and stuff, that's not a big deal for me. Or re-welding exhaust, I can do all that. All that stuff that maybe would be tricky, but yeah. All right, see you later, Steven. Nice comment. So that's it. That's how this one sits. That's how it is. Everyone's saying different horsepower, so I have no idea. I guess if I put a 20 horse on here, it probably wouldn't be very fast. Because 70 horsepower, that's a lot. I need like a small car engine in here. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Leave a comment down below if you let me know that you watched or whatever, and I appreciate it. And stay tuned for more videos of deer hunting and also on the snowmobile project. All right, have a good night, everybody, and I'll talk to you later.